Hi guys, welcome. EyeJax, PapiMento Yellan. Welcome to the live stream, guys. So we have a couple of things to talk about today. Most importantly, everybody saw our thumbnail, so it's going to be a debate about Heitinga or Bosz. Before we start talking about Heitinga and Bosz, we thought maybe it would be interesting for the viewers that are here and will be joining later to maybe, let's do a poll. And you can vote whether you prefer Heitinga or Bosz. So I'm gonna ask the administrator if he can drop the poll, and then later on we will talk about Heitinga and Bosz, and we'll see also the results of the poll, which will be interesting as well. Guys, I hope everything is okay. I hope you guys are having a good week. EyeJax, you're good?
Yeah, man, peachy, we won, but unfortunately almost the rest won also, except AZ. So could have been better if PSV or Feyenoord dropped some points. But hey, we're not living in an ideal world. At least we're winning it ourselves now. So let's take it one at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Papi, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. A lot of news, a lot of new things. So I'm happy that our board is finally getting its body, and the RVC, Jan van Hals, and our technical director with Sven. So the Diamanten Oog, I like it. So good, man. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, Yellan, welcome, bro. It's been a while. We're always glad to have you on the channel, of course. Let me start giving you the first question. You know how it goes. Sure. The guest always gets the first question. So. Look, let's talk about what happened this week. A lot of changes, like PapiMento already said. Most importantly, the technical director. So we have a German now who's going to take care of our future. So how do you think? What are your opinions about this, more or less? And did you have a chance to watch the interview maybe yesterday? What's your first impression?
Thanks for having me, of course. First of all, I saw some interviews of Mislintat, the Diamanten Augen, the German who's going to save our club. He's saying all the right things. So, and from what I understand, he has the Ajax DNA, is what they call it. So he likes attractive football. He has a thing for looking at youngsters, so seeing talent in youngsters, which is suitable for Ajax. He's saying all the right things. He's very polite, especially for a German. So, I mean, he has some good track record as a scout, but not yet as a technical director. But benefit of the doubt, so far looks good. Yeah.
All right, EyeJax, what about you? What was your impression on the appointment and also the interview that followed yesterday?
First of all, I think it's great that finally somebody fills that vacancy after 14 months, because relying on Van der Sar, what happened when that was the case. I actually don't know that much about Sven, Mr. Diamanten Augen, but I watched the video on Ajax TV. I think he looked good. I think he, like Yellan said, he said all the right things. He looks like an intelligent guy, knows what he's doing. It looks like he has some social skills, so it's not awkward, I think that brings you a long way within this area. You have to have good contacts. You have to have certain people skills and social skills to have those conversations with the right persons, And I think he has some track record, like Yellan said, at other clubs. For me, also a great thing that he is already very busy with Ajax, that he is like enthusiastic since the first talk that he had with Van der Sar, following Ajax intensively, following the Eredivisie intensively. You do not know if it's just something he's saying to look good, or really doing it. But that is something that I like about him. It looks like he has the right work ethics. So for me, it's a positive. It's positive. It's not the feeling I had with Schreuder, with that first interview he gave, like trying to getting to know the person behind the person, and the person behind the footballer and all that sort of stuff. This guy actually says sensible things. So for me, also benefit of the doubt still. Yeah.
Good. Papi, I'm going to give you this question also to you, and maybe also to add to it, if you had the chance to watch the interview, what were the standout comments for you, which Sven made, which made you think about, like, all right, this is interesting?
Look, I have what I've heard in the interview, and I've heard the rumors, right? So let's start with the interview. I thought he showed a lot of pride in working for Ajax, and he showed that it's a big club, and I like that. He grew up watching the big Ajax, so he understands what is necessary. Seems like an intelligent man. I mean, he's been head scout since Dortmund with Aubameyang and Lewandowski and stuff like that. Those are the rumors, right? So he's been in the game for a while, and I think that comes with a big network of agents. I think he's very data analytic oriented. So I think he knows a lot of which players are coming up and which players could be good for Ajax. So he's not coming, blind and without any experience. So I think that could be a good thing for Ajax, especially because we're lacking in that front. Having experience, people leaving that shouldn't be leaving, people staying that should leave. But things like that. So I thought Sven, first impression is good. But yeah, we also heard the rumors from Arsenal, Stuttgart, that he didn't do well, right? So I know in the background we're busy getting those fans from other clubs to come and maybe give her a big clearer picture. Yeah, I don't know, a little spoiler. It's allowed. But I want to hear more from him, like what his background, how fans feel about him, how they saw him at the club. That I think that's very important information going into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think he had a good first impression. Like PapiMento said, I think he said the right things. Also, EyeJax said that. For me, saying basically the right things, but you guys didn't even mention, because we're going to talk about Heitinga and Bosz. You guys didn't even mention about when he got the question asked about, coach, and what he said, like, Heitinga is doing well, he's in pole position, so why would we, think about another coach right now? It's not something we're looking at right now. So what do you guys think of that? Is that a nice way of saying, look, we're in the season, we have other things to think about right now, and we'll see at the end of the season what to do? Or do you guys really think like, no, we're not really thinking about it yet, and we don't have any reason to think about it yet? What do you think, Yellan?
Well, I think we should think about it already, so we don't have any surprises in the off season, because it's really short, I believe 6 weeks. To give a bit of a spoiler, I don't mind Johnny staying, or John, I should say nowadays. But I think what Sven said in his interview was he has this job for a reason. So he didn't outright say that he wanted John to stay on. So that's a big difference. He's in pole position because he has the job. So he didn't really say which one he preferred. And I think we will come to it later on in our choices for either Bosz or Heitinga, is that it's two completely different trajectories, in my opinion. So, but we'll come to the explanation of that later. But yeah, he says the right things, because he should back his current coach. And it would be weird if he said we need a replacement halfway when the season isn't finished yet.
Yeah, and we have to play the cup, of course, and second place is at stake. So let's not jump into conclusions. Look, we're so focused, of course, in, filling in the positions. And to be honest, ever since Heitinga came in, things are now falling into pieces. We see Jan van Halst last week. Now we have Sven. But at the other side of the coin, which we didn't anticipate, changes are being made as well. There are also others leaving. We knew that Gerry Hamstra left, sorry, and we this week also Henk Veldmaten, the scout, who was responsible for a lot of South American players as well, left as well. And today we heard that the head of the youth academy left. Are you guys?
Saïd Ouali.
Saïd Ouali, EyeJax. So what kind of reaction does it give you? These kind of things happening at the same time.
Me?
Yes, EyeJax. Yes.
Okay. I think it's good that something is happening, because also with Sven, it cannot be worse, in my opinion, than what it has been the last 14 months. So from the start, doing a lot of stuff. Also, it shows me that Now Pierre Heitinga is in, and things started changing. It also shows how incapable Van der Sar is at the things he needs to do, because he's doing it within a few days, a few weeks. And of course, probably there's already been talks, like Sven also said before that. But I think that will also be because they also have talks with Heitinga behind the scenes, before he actually started. So, and also what I saw with Van der Sar's interview, because that's also something that happened. It really baffled me that he just stated, "Yeah, we hired a company to search for us."
Yeah, external agency. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so even that you didn't do yourself, you hired a company that gave you a list, and you were like, okay, let's try this one. This one suits us. So I think it's great that things are started changing, and maybe two things can happen: or he leaves, which I'm fine with, or he actually will get a role that really suits him, only certain stuff that he's responsible for and nothing else. But overall, to answer your question, I think it's good things starting happening now, like changes in personnel, people leaving, people coming, because the way it has been the last 14 months, it's not great. So it can only get better, in my opinion.
So you're actually happy that there's a shakeup going on right now?
Of course, I'm happy with that. And one could argue that whoever you place in a certain position, you always have to, prove yourself again and again. So even with Diamantnaugen, with Sven, he needs to prove himself again also. And I just like, my first impression of him is just good. The way he handled himself in the interview, because nowadays it's not that easy to speak in public. Our director Van der Sar has some troubles with it, so Sven did it much better, and that's something that I like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I go to Papi, question to the viewers. I said that earlier in the video, in the live stream, I said that you guys can vote on a poll. I'm not sure if the poll is visible. I cannot see it. So just give me like a confirmation that there is a poll and you guys are voting, just so I know. Thank you.
There was a poll. I saw it, but
yeah. All right. So you cannot see it here, but you can see it.
There are some votes, but I cannot see, because probably I don't have the rights. I cannot see the standings from
the standings right now. We'll check later. All right. Perfect. Papi, are you relieved? Are you relieved now that we have a capable technical director? Van der Sar is going back to becoming the CEO that he is. And what do you expect from the new technical director in the short term, like from now on going into the summer?
Look, first of all, he has to evaluate the youth. What are we missing? What can we use for next season? And then really start. I mean, look, we have Timber, Alvarez, and who else? Kudus, that are maybe leaving. So can he keep them? Can he give them a contract extension? Are they really leaving? Who is he going to bring back, to Ajax as a replacement? Because we are lacking quality, and if these three leave, we're lacking even more quality. So can he put in this transfer window, get the right players for Ajax, highly technical, the real Ajax DNA players, and have a winning team for next season, Juan. That's the most important thing. Yeah. And of course, he has to decide who's going to be the coach. That's the most important thing. But
yeah,
let's see what the poll says, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's very good. That's very good. Yellan, anything you want to add to what Papi said about what his first priorities should be?
I think the first priority should be the trainer, because that will depend also on the play style and also on the players you will need for that kind of play style. Even though we have an Ajax DNA and an Ajax way of playing, those coaches play a different style of football. So I feel like that's the most important decision to be made in order to form the team around the play style and fill in the positions you need. Even more important than the youth squad or contract extensions. However,
I mean, if you look now, Yellan, at the schedule, I mean, that's just the only thing he can do. He can evaluate now the youth department, the first team. and check what is required and what is needed. I mean, he can do that without having to wait till the end of the season to start his job, right? So that's
Officially,
why
he
I'm saying,
starts at the 16th of May, so he's not even officially started yet.
That's true, but he did
True.
say, I think Van der Sar did mention that when the talks started in February, the initial talks, he already started following Ajax closely.
Yeah.
And I even heard or read that they were impressed because he even knew the players of young Ajax and maybe the youth also. So he really did his research, and they were impressed by him. So I think he's not, even though he officially will start in May, I think the 19th or 17th, something like that, around that time. I think he's already doing his homework, and he knows which direction he wants to go, which is important. I promised somebody on Twitter, he had a question for us when we said that we will have a live stream. I will give it to you, Yellan, and also EyeJax, you can comment on this.
Sure.
He said, isn't it better right now if we look at where we stand that we start all over again? So we're starting all over again in organization, but looking at our squad, should we get rid of the older players and start fitting in the youth players? And then next season will be a build-up until we get to the level that we won the season after that. What do you guys think of that, Yellan?
Yeah, I was actually thinking of this exact question today, even though I didn't know you had that question from a viewer.
Yeah, it was from He-Man, I think, was the one that sent. Thank you for the question, by the way.
So I was thinking, and this was the conclusion I came to, is like there comes a time in every player's career where you're just there in the squad because what you used to be able to bring and not what you're currently bringing. And the best example, I think, is Tadic. Even though he has a good contribution in goals and assists, like this is a once in a 3 or 4 match streak that he has. The other 3 matches, he is invisible. So you're basically playing with 10 people. So I think that, to answer your question, yes, they should have more youth in the squad and maybe reserve a place for a player like Tadic, more like of a locker room player and more of like a senior role in the squad. I see EyeJax shaking his head. So
don't get distracted. That's EyeJax is intimidating you right now. But
yeah,
you can.
always.
I know. But this is. I mean, yes, when he's good, he's really good. But when he's bad, he's really bad. That is my opinion.
Can I just touch upon it real quick, please?
You were biting your lips.
I know the negativity surrounding Tadic sometimes, especially with Sneijder, with his little mouth and his fingers, like discussing everything everybody does. Everybody is negative about everything else except his own performance during his career. But Tadic, you have to take into consideration. He's been shifted around the team a lot this season. The team isn't clicking at all. Not only him, but the whole team isn't performing the way it should be. Still, this guy in 28 Eredivisie games comes up with 18 assists, I believe. 17 assists and 8 goals, I believe, on the top of my mind. Yeah. Find me somebody that gives the same stats to the team and that can easily replace him, because I know he's not the vintage Tadic of 2018, 2019, by far. But the team is so much different also because we had a machine back then. There were so many players and so many positions that were comfortable playing our style. And now there's no cohesion throughout the whole team. So pinpointing it on the captain and on Tadic and saying, yeah, he's over the hill, only a locker room figure, that's a stretch for me, because this guy still, all the goal and assist contributions he made, I think he still is one-on-one with all the game matches he played and the contributions he gave to the team. So just give me somebody that produces his stats and can replace him. And until that, I really think we should play him. You should not sacrifice him. You should start sacrificing other players and other positions and trying to create and gel that together. And until that, I think Tadic can be of big contribution still for this team, because nobody else is giving his stats, and he's been poor this season. Can you imagine that he has a team around him that starts clicking again? Yeah.
Look,
may I interject
quickly,
in this?
Just quickly, because I wanted to add also to what EyeJax said by giving an example. I totally agree with especially the last part. Usually, I would agree with you, Yellan. But what are the alternatives? The alternatives is 30 million Euro left winger that's having a terrible season.
What are his stats?
And the other one is not even fit enough to play regularly, which is also
he has more goals than Tadic.
Exactly. So who's knocking on the door? Who's knocking on the door to make the coach make that decision that, oh, Tadic, we're going to give you less playing time because we have better players that can show more than what you're doing? We don't have it.
Of course. So my next point in my conclusion was that we need other players to replace him because we don't have them in the club yet. But
you got some time. You got some time to think about that escape, right?
He saved himself.
I was looking up the stats of Tadic. He has 17 assists and 8 goals. So
yeah, exactly. Papi, go ahead. Sorry, man. Go.
Only Eredivisie, yeah. Not only
Yeah.
Europe.
But look, I'm kind of in the middle, and I'm a little bit nuanced because if you're telling me that Tadic is going to play left wing next season again, I'm going to be pissed. He's not a left winger anymore. He doesn't have it in his legs anymore. It's not a left winger. So the only options would be striker or as a number 10 position. I could see him playing as a 10, fighting it out with Klaassen for next season. I would like him to be somebody that can play multiple positions because he can do that if it's required. But I just don't see him as a winger anymore. He doesn't have the depth, the run capabilities to do that. I just want to see him deliver more of what Eriksen is doing now at United, a little bit more the passing, the assist from the number 10 role, not specifically like how Klaassen would play it, but more of a assist king behind the striker and sending the people away. That's kind of where I see him moving next season. But as a left winger, no, I don't see Tadic staying as a left winger, not so ever. And it doesn't matter if we talk about stats. We all see that he downplays the games a lot. We cannot play high tempo because he does, again, holding the ball and waiting. So, yeah, that's good for one game, but everybody knows what he's going to do now. It's getting predictable. And then if you have another Bergwijn there that's also the same way of playing predictable, then it becomes everything is predictable. So for me, no, that has to change, definitely.
I don't know if I'm breaking protocol right now by giving my opinion as a host, but can I just quickly add something to this? Because, we should add even more depth to it. I don't know if you guys caught the interview of Berghuis after the Fortuna Sittard game. And I think he said something very important. And I think it also applies to Tadic, which is, he said, playing on the midfield, for me, that's something I can do. I can play as a 10, and then Kudus on the right. It's all about having doubles, duos on the pitch. So I can connect with Kudus. Kudus is my speed basically on the right side. If we play Europe, if we play big teams and we sit a little bit deeper, then as a right winger I cannot make my case. But if we play on the half of the opponent, then it becomes a different story. And I think this is the same for Tadic. So what PapiMento is saying, I think number 10, if we play Europe, no. If we play left wing with Tadic in Europe, also no. Then the only option will become, in my opinion, a striker. But if we're playing Fortuna Sittard, Emma, these kind of teams, I think you can play in 10, you can play in left winger. It doesn't matter really. So that's my opinion on it.
You know what we have to take into consideration, and I'll briefly touched upon it already in my answer. The whole team isn't clicking. Our left and right backs are non-existent this season.
True.
So blaming it all on Tadic's lacking speed and stuff, I understand he's not the most agile winger and the most speedy winger, but that is not the only type of winger that you can play with. If you have a left back that overlaps and has speed and has versatility in his play and agility, the way he plays, then Tadic can also perform better. But what left back does he have behind him this season? Wijndal, who thinks that he is the best left back of Europe, but he's shit. And what else? Blind left. With Blind, you at least had some passing. But Bessie as a left back, it's not the solution either. Hopefully Hato can fill the role in the future. But damn, how I miss Tagliafico at this moment. He wasn't even a starter that season, but he would have been terrific this season as a left back. So blaming it on him, not being speedy enough, yes, but Bergwijn is speedy and he's been poor. I'll take this Tadic over Bergwijn any day. Because Bergwijn, what did he do? And talking about predictable, at least Tadic gives some crosses. The only thing Bergwijn does is go inside, try to shoot with his left or with his right leg. And he misses most of the time. So I think we're riding off our captain too soon. Because
I just don't think you can expect that that he's going to be a starter next season. I just don't.
You think Klaas is better?
To be honest, this has been really a bad season from Bergwijn. But if that's the level Bergwijn is going to produce, then why did we buy him?
Just okay, but in all seriousness, Papi, who if the team stays the same, and I'm not saying it will, at the moment, who are you going to play on the left wing position? Who's better than Tadic in this team?
We're not talking about at this moment. We're talking about after the transfer window.
If you
and how we're going to start next season. That was the question.
No. If you come up with
talking about now, because now, yeah, okay.
But
if you are expecting a different Tadic with better players around him, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we have to get an elite level left back and an elite level midfielder, so Tadic can do whatever he does.
No. Hold up. Elite level isn't even necessary. I love Tagliafico, and I think he's a great left back, but he's not elite level. But the level at this moment is so shit that even like appropriate level or like semi-good level is already a big difference compared to how the role's been filled this season. And talking about our right back position, imagine you have Noes there. You know, those positions are so important with overlapping and making sure that your wingers will perform great. Why did Anthony do so well last season? Because he had that tandem with Mazraoui. It's so important. So it goes way deeper than only Tadic. And for me, he's still a legend. He will always be, and there's still something left in the tank. You know, I think he will start playing eventually 70 minutes, 65 minutes. But to bench him already, no, that's too far for me.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't say to bench him. I just said he shouldn't expect to be a starter next season. I mean, it's definitely not on the left wing.
Yeah, but Papi, look, you cannot throw out, like they say in Dutch, you cannot throw out your old shoes, if you don't have new ones, man. No, but
you guys are talking about left wing. He's not even playing under Heitinga as a left wing.
But why is that? Because the rest of the positions are shit.
Exactly. Well, I said it in a nicer way, but yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. There is nobody knocking on the door and making it hard for the coach to think, oh, you know what? This time I will put Tadic on the bench because there's somebody else performing better than Tadic. We don't have that. So we cannot start looking at Tadic if the others one are not performing.
And take into consideration, he's been at his worst level since he joined Ajax. We have to be honest about that. I'm not going to lie. I agree with that. But still, he has 25 goal and assist contributions in 28 games. I just rest my case. Nobody else comes close.
Yeah, which also has to do with the team, as we discussed. And not only that, he had an interview also, I think, yesterday or the day before. And he admitted, basically, that this is the worst team he's been on since he came to Ajax in 2018. So, you know, it has to do with each, you know, it's connected basically. So yeah,
what I'd say
is you use Eredivisie stats to value a player's performance. Sorry. I mean, if we want to have an Ajax team that is somewhat equal to 2018 or 2020, then we should have players to value on the European stage, not on the Eredivisie stage. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but that's apples and oranges at this moment, because this team is so far from that level.
We're not talking about this moment.
Whenever it doesn't go its way, it's
ideal situation.
You hear that shit?
No. But I agree with you, Yellan. But if I go back to the question of Heeman on Twitter, wouldn't Tadic be the important key, the glue in the transition to a new Ajax, to a new Champions League team Ajax that can perform? Or are you going to just toss him out? You're going to toss him out and just put somebody else in and take the risk.
You can just quote me here. If he has a better team around him, people will start to change their opinions next season, because he still can deliver. But it's just shit this season. It's everywhere on the pitch is shit. So how do you expect one guy to carry the whole team? He's not been great, but he's doing okay.
I think it's going to be a gradual
said also about the league, that it's a shit league. So
yeah, it is a shit league.
Do you agree? A shit league. I'm just saying.
This season, the league is shit. The level is shit. Yeah. I'm sticking to my words. Ajax has been shit with the comparators also.
and he's not been able this season, even with Ajax being shit, to individually set himself apart.
Poppy,
from
look at the
shitness.
stats. I believe he has the highest goal and assist stats in the whole league. What are you talking about, bro?
That's stats peddling, bro. I've
I
seen
don't know.
so
I
many
don't
bad
care.
games from
You're
him.
the best in the league with the stats. What do you want more?
Even
Give
if
the
you
penalty to somebody else.
even if you take away the GA, the goals and assist, results. If you look at, there was a stat also about how many chances he creates compared to the number 2 on the list.
By miles.
It's not even close. All right. Anyways, guys, we weren't even planning on talking about Tadic, to be honest, but just went there. Give me a minute to go over the comments, and then we will touch upon the question, the debate about Heitinga or Bosz. I just want to know if everybody voted. If I can just have a heads up on the results and how many people voted so far. If you haven't voted, please vote whether you prefer Bosz, Heitinga, or maybe you don't want to vote. That's fine as well.
Maybe neither.
I have to go all the way up. There were so many.
No. There are 23 votes. Heitinga 30%, Bosz 57%, and someone else ... 30%.
All right. So how many was Bosz? 57?
57. So almost twice what Heitinga has.
Okay.
He has 30.
Right. Yeah, we'll touch upon that. Let me see. I'm gonna go over the comments that were shown and given by the viewers. Let's go. Heitinga or Bosz or both. That's assuming Bosz is even a realistic option under Van der Sar. We'll touch upon that in a bit. Let's see. We had what's up from Rick. I showed it already. Rick, welcome, buddy. Glad you can join. We have Dan Holmes. Goedenavond. weTalk fam. Goedenavond, Dan. Welcome, bro. Let's see. What else? We have the Vagebond. Hans Krijs said that he already knew all the players of the younger squad, and at Stuttgart he could renew his contract, but he refused. That he felt is a hoax composed by the Telegraaf. All right, so that's clear. That's very clear. Let's see. Luca, I'm curious if we can expect another Martinez or Anthony, since Mislintat is not known for his scouting work in America. I think the silent departure of Veldmade will be felt. Yeah, I mean, time will tell. We have to wait and see, So
Bro, I will be happy with another Arveladze. I don't mind where they come from, as long as they're good footballers, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's the most important thing, to be honest, But the thing is about the South American that has been in this team recently, in recent years, of course, not all of them were successful, but they brought certain things to the team that we needed. That, it's been talked about multiple times. Our youth players don't have the mentality of the youth players or the players that we get from South America. So, apart from the fact that they have to be good and can play football as well. So
yeah, so not like Sanchez.
Very bad ones, so
who?
Not like Sanchez.
Yeah, I'm not going to even comment on that.
Right. We're talking about Magajan, so
no, that's even worse, to be honest.
So
all right,
there's good ones and bad ones in every region or country. So.
True. Progressivo X. I like how Heitinga managed the team right now, to be honest. He makes good decisions even if the team fail. He showed players like Basio or Rangel that misperformance has consequences. All right, that's a good argument.
And he calls them out on it too, in public, what I like.
Yeah, absolutely. John W., what's the significance of losing our head scout for South America? Yeah, time will tell. We don't know yet. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
the funny thing, the only thing I want to say is that actually we didn't have time, or we didn't anticipate, but we didn't get anyone from South America apart from Sanchez last summer. But I mean, from Brazil or Argentina. So yeah, that was a bit strange, in my opinion. All right, let's see. What else do we have? I'm almost there, guys. Progressivo also an opinion about Tadic. Tadic is our captain. He's not perfect, but he showed the world what an Ajax he is, man. By far the best transfer ever. The only one who don't give a shit about following big money and stayed Ajax. Yeah.
Well, he did go to the Premier League. That's one. And yeah, he played in the Premier League, Tadic.
Well, but that's not what he's saying.
Yeah.
And,
sorry,
I just want to say.
You want to say something, EyeJax? I'm sorry, man.
No. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
All right. Murder Inc., welcome. Mr. Diamond Eye says it's going to be a crazy summer transfer window for Ajax. We better sign defenders. Yeah, we should, to be honest. We don't know anything yet about Kaplan. And also, we don't know if Timber is staying. So that's also another one to think about. Luca, Papi, we need better wingbacks. In that case, Tadic is gold. So, yeah.
My man.
What EyeJax was saying as well. Yep. Let's see. Godfrey Drummond. Good evening, chaps. Wim Jonk is an alternative as head coach. Someone schooled in the Johan Cruyff way of thinking and training methods. With Curver methodology. Head coach, youth academy head coach, you mean? Or do you mean...
No, head coach.
No, I think he...
Interesting.
Okay. So now we know who voted for other?
Probably, yeah, that probably know now. Let's see, what else do we have? Get a Murder Inc., get a Tadic and Davis, and still he will be losing balls, and instead of shooting to score, he will decide to pass wide. Not a fan. All right, clear. All right, what else do we have? We have Keith. Let's see. Out of topic. Some love to see Dutch players Ajax captain, Daily Blind, Frank de Boer, Heitinga, De Ligt. But with the facts that one of the best captains that Ajax ever have, it's not from Holland. Yep. Let's see. What else do we have? We have Dinos. Tadic is fine if you pick Heitinga as the coach. We can play comfortably in the Eredivisie after we get kicked out of Europe. All right.
Well, we don't want to get kicked out of Europe.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Guys, let's touch upon the Bosz Heitinga debate. This is what it's all about. A brief introduction. Basically, Bosz, I don't even know if Bosz is a candidate, to be honest, or on the short list of Ajax, but the media, the Dutch media, is really doing everything they can to push him as a candidate. At the same time, what the media is also doing is asking after every game, Heitinga, what about your future? What do you think? Do you want to stay? Do you don't want to stay? Okay, so we're having this this battle going on, which the media is perfectly setting up for us, to discuss. Your opinion on, I think we touched upon it briefly last week, but just your opinion, if you had to choose, if you can make a decision, what would be your decision going into next season? Would you go for Heitinga or would you go for Bosz? And you can even say, you know what? I don't want either of those. I want somebody else. But then you have to come up with a name. Otherwise, it's too easy. Let me give it to Yellan first. He's smiling.
Yeah, I'm just reading up on all the Telegraaf nonsense they're posting. It's just in that there's an incident why Bosz couldn't be appointed as a head coach, but I don't say what this incident is. It's from Valentijn Driessen from the Telegraaf.
Oh, let's not give them another podium.
Too seriously. However, I believe that there are two different trajectories. If you have Heitinga as coach, I think it will be more for the future, for a long-term solution. And this in conjunction with Mislintat could be a very good rebuild strategy for Ajax. But Ajax is a club that needs to have successes in the short term as well. So then Peter Bosz would be also a good candidate, maybe even a better candidate. But we do not have the squad to play the football that Peter Bosz wants to play at all, especially in the defense, with the build-up and with the high pressure line. So that would mean that there have to become a complete overhaul of the current squad. So yeah, my preference, I don't really know.
You had time to think, man. You had time to think during that answer. Come on.
I mean, it was a very well thought of and very elaborate answer. Thank you very much. I don't have a preference, actually. Is that an answer?
You would be fine with either one of those. If Heitinga continues or Bosz gets appointed, you're fine with either of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but maybe there's an option where Bosz does the short term and Heitinga is groomed in the background, and also with the view on the youth squad with the new technical director, and then it would be like a two-way street. But that's difficult to focus on two. So.
Yeah.
Okay, Heitinga, my favorite, yes.
Yeah, I just giving you the intimidation tactics again.
No. But
I was looking at you, Juan, because I get too intimidated. No, I choose Heitinga with the rebuild. Yes.
EyeJax, you want to jump in?
Good answer. No, but it's quite simple, man. I'm getting tired of this discussion because, first of all, we're not at the end of the season yet. Second of all, Heitinga has been doing very well considering what he inherited from Schreuder and how the status of the squad was. So, third of all, Bosz and Van der Sar don't gel. So people can say, yeah, Bosz needs to come to the club. It's not going to happen as long as Edwin van der Sar is at the helm of the club. Period. You know, we saw that he has a huge ego. So do you think that he will just put it aside and say, hey, Peter, come on in and let's do it again? They had beef. So as long as Van der Sar is there, I do not see Bosz coming back. But also, that ship has sailed for me. There was a moment when Schreuder left that we could have appointed somebody else than Heitinga. The club and Van der Sar chose not to do it. They went with Heitinga. Now he deserves the time to actually rebuild the squad and also put his flavor in, you know. He has a preseason. He can discuss with Sven who he likes to sign for the team, not hiring or sub-hiring other managers to help out or other bureaus to help out Ajax doing certain stuff. Do it yourself. I have confidence in John. He's not the finished product yet, but we at Ajax take chances. We've had similar coaches in the past that weren't that experienced. Do you remember a certain Louis van Gaal when he started at the club? He wasn't a big name. What did he do? He won the Europa League. He won the Champions League. Do you remember Frank de Boer? I'm not saying he's great the way he played, but his material he had with the players was totally different than last year's. He won us 4 championships. He brought us the 3rd star. So sometimes taking a risk and putting somebody there that has the Ajax DNA can also pay off. So everybody's saying, you know, we need an experienced coach. When did we become so scared to take chances? We've been doing it in the past with Van Basten. Didn't work out that great, but we didn't have a problem taking a chance back then. Did we lose our balls? So we like performed very well last seasons, and now all of a sudden one season not so well, and we do not take any chance anymore. I believe in Heitinga. I think he can do the job. Let him do the job. Otherwise, you should have appointed Bosz in the mid-season. Period. Not now.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, EyeJax. The only counter argument I would have against what you're saying, the only one would be that you're saying, why did we not appoint Bosz earlier? If we didn't have anybody in the organization, we didn't have like somebody as technical commissioner in the like Van Hals right now, because Danny Blind wasn't there anymore.
And we appointed Heitinga.
No, but wait, and we didn't have a clear technical or sporting director. Now we have, so now we can make decisions. And, it would be very weird to appoint because if you get Bosz is not going to come as an interim. Bosz will come.
In my opinion, Juan, if you were able to appoint Heitinga, which was the safe choice, you also were able to appoint Bosz. Yeah, we didn't have the right personnel at the right positions, but that means that other people in the meanwhile had like the power to make those decisions. The same people that had the power to appoint Heitinga could have appointed Bosz. So that's an argument.
No, I don't agree. It's a very valid argument because Heitinga is appointed still as an interim to buy time to get the organization. Oh, but wait. No, but it's to buy time to get the organization filled in certain positions. And after, maybe in the recent weeks, we will find out if he will become a permanent coach, yes or no. But you cannot do the same with Bosz or another coach. You cannot tell them, look, we'll only give you an interim position.
And one other big argument that for me, because it's clear I want Heitinga to stay, other big argument for him to stay is I am not seeing any other solution that people are suggesting. You know, him taking the back seat, him being an assistant manager again. That ship has sailed. You put him in an interim position. You groomed him at young Ajax. He's a child of the club. He's young. He can go for years if he does well. You cannot put him back as an assistant now. You put him in the main seat. So either you keep him in the main seat or you lose him for the coming years, and maybe in the future, if he does well elsewhere, he comes back. I'm not seeing another option. I'm not seeing Johnny saying, okay, you know what? I've done pretty well with the team up until now. I didn't have anything to say. I just had to problem solve. I dived in because I'm an Ajax and wanted to help the club. You know what? I'm just taking the back seat again. I'm going to do an assistant role, and maybe in a few years they give me a chance again. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So either you say goodbye to him and you lose him, or you give him a proper chance to prove himself.
So, all right, but you do know that he agreed first to be an assistant, right?
Yeah, but things change.
All right.
They sacked him, and the cards reshuffled, and the positions are different now.
Okay, clear. Papi, go ahead, man. What's your view on this debate?
Look, either way, I wouldn't be mad either way. Like, I love both options. I think Heitinga did a great job, but I'm leaning towards Bosz because I've seen more of Bosz to know what kind of level he can bring. And I think he can make some certain players play even better. And you will see a lot of changes, the way we press, the way we set up, the way some players will play better. He's been known to get players to another level. And I haven't seen that from Heitinga. And still, I'm from the opinion that, a coach shouldn't just start at Ajax. It's a job of experience. It's been said so many times, and it's not something you can just jump into from youth to, you can try it out. But what if we fail as a next season again? Is it okay? We showed balls, fine.
But
failing again.
But why are you stating fail again? Because the majority of the failure this season is on Schreuder. Heitinga is really doing quite well with the circumstances that he inherited. He won 8 out of 10 matches and 1 draw and 1 loss.
Did I say he didn't?
No, EyeJax, hold on. Just to structure this a little bit, I think what Papi is trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we cannot afford another failure season. So maybe taking the risk with a new coach or an experienced coach is a big risk at the moment.
You can also fail.
Yeah, exactly. What kind of how do you say that?
Wait, you did your
guarantee. You have no guarantee. Look at Schreuder;
Exactly,
he was experienced.
No, you don't have guarantees. But what we are
miserably.
lacking with so many people leaving, Sven not from Ajax. We only have Jan van Halst with a little bit of expertise, let's say. We know Van der Sar has no ability to see what kind of level Ajax is at. So. Don't you want a more experienced coach that experience that can bring some experience into this club that has dealt with a lot of things in his life that can be useful for setting up this team how he wants it?
The only one, and I said that also before the winter break, before the World Cup started, the only one I could see that doing in a short time frame was Louis van Gaal, and I always stated that he has the balls, he has the know-how, he has the knowledge to restructure this team and create something for the future that somebody can take over. It's a big risk with Bosz also. I liked what he did in other seasons when he was at Ajax, but it's not a guarantee that he will do much better than Heitinga. It's not a guarantee.
Sorry?
Sorry?
What season were you watching from under Bosz? In one season, going to Europa League finals, he had Sanchez, somebody in the back that couldn't even build up, and he made him look good.
Did you remember those games against Schalke? Did you remember those games that we played in the group stage against, or in the stage against Lyon? It wasn't all peachy.
Ziyech on the midfield and Ziyech getting to another level under Bosz. Yeah. That's what I remember.
You already remember the results, but I'm agreeing with you. He put us back on the map, but we had some narrow escapes that season with Viergever against Schalke. We weren't playing all great football the whole season, not like 80,
we didn't have a great team either, but we were still playing very good football.
Yeah, did we become champions?
No.
He still managed to get in the 80 points, bro, and we started very, very bad.
So if Heitinga ends up second, he does exactly the same. Not in the 80 points, but
I'm not saying Heitinga is a bad coach. I don't understand why you're making these arguments. I said I'm leaning towards Bosz because I've seen what he can do to a team. I have no experience whatsoever with Heitinga and how he's going to do it. So you're taking a lot of risk for an inexperienced coach. All I'm saying.
All right.
I think it's either or. It's either or.
Yeah.
Because either you take Bosz and you invest a lot in players on the short term, or you take Heitinga and you have a new technical director.
I think he can make Hato, Vos, all these players get to a different level. He can be that coach that takes us to another level.
Let me ask the viewers and you guys a question as well. We touched upon Tadic earlier, right? So let me divert the question a little bit more. Which of the two coaches will be more inclined to take harsh decision towards Tadic, to bench him? Would it be Bosz or would it be Heitinga?
I think Heitinga.
Bosz.
I think Heitinga showed he has balls. He's just saying it as it is also in the media. He's not afraid to take decisions. But I think that's a non-argument because we do not need to bench Tadic yet. He's the least of our problems if you look at the squad. Seriously.
I think they're both more than capable of taking harsh decisions.
I'm talking about when you become the coach for next season. Probably you will be a coach. If you do well, you will be for 2 or 3 years. In that time frame, the discussion about Tadic will arise, and it will happen.
I don't see Bosz staying for 3 years. He hasn't stayed at a club for 3 years in a long time.
Yeah, well, okay,
Good
2 years.
argument.
2 years.
In my opinion, but I think
no,
to answer your question, I think that both are more than capable of taking harsh decisions. Heitinga has shown it, and Bosz has shown it as well. I do think that Heitinga is more of a likable person in the dressing room than Peter Bosz. I think he can incite some arrogance and some friction with some players, I could assume. I don't think every player would get along with Bosz, and I think Heitinga is more gelling with the younger players, is all I'm saying about the difference between the approach of the two. But
And not only this, Heitinga knows the youth, knows the structure in the club. He's been there for years. That's something that Bosz doesn't bring, you know. Maybe he can make players better also. So that's a certain skill set you have as a coach. But the knowledge and the depth, the way the squad is structured in the youth academies, Heitinga knows a lot in that area. So if you want more youth in your squad, if you want more transition from the youth teams, bet on Heitinga before you bet on Bosz, because he will implement it earlier, I think, than Bosz does, because he knows the players.
All right.
I saw Bosz coming in, Juan, and he immediately told El Ghazi, you can go. So, you know, he sees that also, and he makes those hard decisions also. So for me, you know, those hard decisions are going to be made anyway, if it's Heitinga or Bosz, because certain players really need to be let go, let's say.
All right, guys, I have to go over the comments, and then we will finalize this session, this live stream session. For the viewers, if you have any questions, any comments, just drop them. We will have a look at them right now. Let's see. We have John W. Bosz doesn't seem to last long in the coaching position. Do we really want to bring in a short-term fix? This is what Yellan already said. Basically the same. Let me see. What else do we have? All right, John W. Good show, guys. Thank you, man. Let's see. Bosz football. Luca is not a fan. Bosz football for sure is kamikaze football with today's squad, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. It was touched upon already. We have Rebjev. Now, let's say Heitinga bottled the cup in second place. Would you still be fine with Heitinga as head coach for next season? I'm going to direct this question to EyeJax.
Yeah, I would be.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
You do not need to underestimate what he inherited and what the state of the squad was, and it can happen. He won against Twente in the cup. He won against Feyenoord in the cup with even not playing decently, but they won. You can lose a final against PSV. We saw it last season. We were playing well with a different squad, but we got a loss anyway. You know, these things happen in those big matches. So if they get punished like with big margins, it's a different thing, but you can lose a final. So I'm not going to tie his fate only of winning or not winning the final. This season has been trying to salvage what you can, and I think he's been doing a proper job, because we were in 5th with 8 points behind. We're now in 2nd, and yes, we're still far behind Feyenoord, but we made progress, and I'm just looking at baby steps he made.
Same opinion if we end up 3rd?
Sorry?
If we end up 3rd, same opinion?
Yeah, because you have to look at the bigger picture here. You have to look at the bigger picture here. What Schreuder did is the main thing why we're in this position. I'm positive if Heitinga would have been there from the start of the season, first of all, we wouldn't have had crappy signings because some came out of the head of Schreuder. Second of all, he would have time to implement the squad the way he wanted and also sign players he wanted. And he's been doing quite well. Remember those stretch of games before Schreuder got fired? We lost points in 8 adjacent games. Let that sink in for a bit. Heitinga has now played 10. He won 8, drew 1, and lost 1 narrowly against Feyenoord. So if you look at the stats, yeah, what do you expect? The team to play attractive, sexy football like this? Heitinga has the coach and everything as well. I'm looking at the stats. The most important thing is winning at the moment, and he does the job.
Yeah. Look, to be fair as well, if we don't become second, let me put it that way, if we don't become second and we don't have a chance to play Champions League, I mean, do we really need to get an experienced coach in? I mean, if we play Europa League or maybe even Conference League?
Sorry, I have to butt you in here for a bit because I looked it up. For me, I believe that if you win the cup, you go to the Europa League qualifiers.
Correct.
If you become third, you have Conference League. So the
Correct.
difference between second place, Champions League, or third place, Conference League is huge. So
True.
if you become third, you damn sure need to win the cup because otherwise you're playing Conference League.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we fail on the Champions League and it becomes a Europa League or even worse, a Conference League, Europa League or a Conference League, can we not do that with John, with Heitinga? Just keep him on.
Yeah.
And build?
If it's Conference League, of course you can try it. I mean, it's less to lose, right? But you still need to get number 1 next season, Juan. So the pressure is going to be still immense to build this team. And is he capable? Like, look, I'm talking because I don't, as a youth coach, you're busy with development of youth players. You're not busy with constantly winning and setting up your team and dealing with all the Fabios in your team, and it takes much more for a manager. You have to deal also with the personal issues of players, things like that. I'm just doubting if Heitinga is already ready for this position. It's a bigger position than he had. So
we will know in 10 days.
And he said in his interview when he got this that this came very early. So even he's
but every new coach that gets an opportunity says that. Let's be honest, because it's not part of the plan. That's how football goes. So it's honestly about talking about non-arguments. This is something that you hear a lot, but that's football. That's what happens.
He's been a breath of fresh air for me. The way he handles the media, the way he says things as it is, the way he handles himself, also the way he ballsy stated that he wanted clarification on his job. With Peter Bosz like sucking up to Ajax, like, yeah, I'm open for the job, blah, 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 like it's the way he just countered that and asks for clarification. I like it. And that shows character. So he is my vote of confidence for next season.
We will see what he's made of in the remainder of the season, because it's a really tough schedule we have compared to PSV and compared to Feyenoord. I'm not even looking at Feyenoord anymore, sadly, but we will see what he's made of, and if he stands this test of pressure and how he handles this. This will be a very good test to see what he's actually made of, and we can get a glimpse into the future of what we can expect of him.
Yeah, I have an additional question. I have an additional question that I want to throw in the whole debate, particularly going on Heitinga. But before I do, let's just finish up on the comments.
Is it your last question?
I'm sorry?
Your last question?
I cannot guarantee that, EyeJax. I can't. You know me, man. You know me. Gary, talking of levels, Papi, the coaches this year have definitely held back Timber, so that could be a positive for us to keep him one or two more years. I think we touched upon that earlier.
So, man.
I'm sorry?
That would be a plus. I mean, if that happens, if we keep Timber, it's at least something.
Yeah. Progressivo. Nagelsmann got a running contract at Bayern Munich, and they already said that they want many millions for him. He will not manage another team until 2026. Oh,
this is a reply on someone asked about if we could get
probably. Yeah, somebody. Yeah, absolutely. Music, hip hop. PapiMento speaking facts. All right.
Gotcha, buddy.
All right. Here we go. John W. is saying Heitinga has shown he can choose player form over starting heritage. I think that's interesting as well. Let's see. The last one I have here. Totally agree with Heitinga, to be fair. Our team having a mental handicap when he becomes our head coach. And after all his decisions got a positive effect to Ajax through. Got a positive effect to Ajax, through, from my point of view. Okay. I got another one, just fresh one.
From Rita, yeah, show it.
I will show that one as well.
I know you were going to say that.
In my opinion, the best we can do is going back to the Boer era mentality. Let Vos, Misui, Hato, Hots play and scout some real gems for the wingback position. I saw you can react to that in a bit, Yellan. And here you go, EyeJax. Are you happy? No, EyeJax is speaking facts. So we have two camps. All right.
Got my back, you know. She got my back.
Yellan, you wanted you were shaking your head with this one. Why?
Yeah, please no the Boer era, please. Come on, that was painful to watch. I mean, the results were.
I think
good,
the point is playing more youth. Yellan. Don't look at the Frank de Boer era because that threw me. But he's talking about giving more chances to the youth.
I'm up for that, but no passing the ball back 87,000 times.
No, absolutely.
Okay, so guilty question here for your conscience. You know, would you rather would you rather that Heitinga took over and you had Frank de Boer ball, but we were first at the end of this season? You know, passing the ball back, blah blah blah, but first position. Would you have settled for that?
Do you even have to ask me that?
Yeah.
You know how result-oriented I am. Winning ugly is like, I don't care. The result is all that matters.
That's why I asked it.
I'd rather have both, but if I have to choose, I take the result.
Guys, the question that I wanted to ask you guys is, it's to add more taste to this whole discussion on Heitinga, experience, inexperience. If we look at the other, like top teams in the Eredivisie, and we look at their managers, you can see clearly, and I'm not saying that Heitinga is the same or falls in that category because you have exceptions, but if you look at AZ, Pascal Jansen, very experienced. If you look at Feyenoord, Slot, very experienced. If you look at PSV, Van Nistelrooy, not
very
experienced. Yeah, player, not coach. But the thing I'm trying to say is it a coincidence that the two teams that are still in Europe have experienced coaches?
Yes.
No, because no, I don't think so. Because Van Nistelrooy, if you look at him, and that's the best example you can have to Heitinga, I would say that he lost his best two players, Madueke and Gakpo. And if you do that mid-season, and those are your best players, yeah, then you're throwing your whole season away. So I don't think you can really fault a new coach for that happening to him. And yeah, for Heitinga, I mean, he only became Ajax head coach mid-season. So
no, but hold on. You guys are misinterpreting my question. My question is going into next season. So I'm not saying what Heitinga is doing now, because of course he came mid-season. He cannot do anything about it. I'm talking more about even Schreuder. You can question whether he was an experienced head coach, yes or no. But what I'm trying to say is look at the other teams in the Eredivisie and look at the fact that Van Nistelrooy is a new coach. How is he performing with PSV? And you can even say like, yeah, but he sold very important players. Okay, all right, you can argue that. But look at what Slot is doing with Feyenoord. Look at what Pascal Jansen is doing with AZ. You can even argue what Ron Jans has been doing with Twente. Is that no? But wait, is that all coincidence, or is there a relationship in between having an experienced coach and having better results with the team?
But that's the question isn't the question is, sorry to say this, but the question, I do not agree with the way you ask the question, because all those coaches have been there from the beginning of the season.
Hold on. You're the host. You can ask the question now. Let's go.
Finally. No,
all right.
No, but the way you ask the question is the other coaches are there from the beginning of the season. Heitinga started at the end of the winter break and then just inherited the squad the way it is. So if you have to compare them, you should compare them over a whole season. You cannot expect him in that short time frame. And we were also very unlucky against Union Berlin. If you saw the decisions made by the refs, it was poor. You know, I've seen handballs given for the way the Bessie got the penalty. You know, it's just ridiculous in my opinion. But still, if you judge him for a whole season, not just after one performance in Europe, because that's not fair.
All right, you didn't ask a question, so I'm reverting.
No, you didn't ask a question. He's not just the host.
Question, bro.
Okay. You want me to ask a question? I thought you want me to answer. Put me back.
All right, here we go. What's your question?
What you saw this season is that certain teams in the Eredivisie with an experienced coach are doing quite well in Europe. with going into next season, Heitinga possibly being the same coach at Ajax, a young, fresh coach with not that much of first team experience. Do you think he has enough qualities to do well in Europe like those experienced coaches are doing this season at those clubs? Juan.
I have to give an answer now as well.
You're the panel now.
Look, there's an argument to be given. Heitinga, you can give him time to, of course, to show himself. But I don't think it's a coincidence, and that's why I'm asking this question. You can see it also with Ten Hag. When Ten Hag came to Ajax, he was already experienced. He had experience in his baggage. He knew what he wanted. He had his own playing style, everything. Heitinga is still learning. It's still a risk, in my opinion. And I'm not taking away anything that he's been doing this season. I think he's been doing really well. And even if we don't make it and we don't get second place and stuff like that, I will not blame him because he's only helping out. And the real problem was not only Schreuder, but the whole signing last season and what happened and so forth. But in my opinion, if you're going with Heitinga, then basically it fits into the whole strategy of Ajax or starting all over again. And that's my opinion. So we shouldn't expect next season great things in Europe because we're starting all over again. And inexperienced coaches will make mistakes.
But you being a weTalk economics guy,
No.
With high risk comes high reward, So you were willing to take the risk and go for the moon, or you're just playing it safe?
No, I'll be fine. And I also agree. Somebody said that you don't have a guarantee with Bosz either. I agree with that, especially in the Champions League. I don't think he ever showed anything in the Champions League. So I don't know. In Europe, it's a big question mark. In my opinion.
Finally, you touched on the most important thing: is that what tournament are you actually playing in?
Exactly.
Because if you look at the Champions League, we were third in our group with Napoli and Liverpool. And I haven't seen Feyenoord or AZ beat any of teams that are on that level. I mean, Lazio is a nice win for AZ, especially like in that later stages of the competition. Feyenoord just beat Roma with 1-0. So those are good results, but it's no way near the level of what Napoli was playing and with Liverpool.
No, but they think they're playing at that level. At least the supporters do.
So it's apples and oranges. You're comparing apples and oranges. So if you play Conference League, yes.
Don't take away EyeJax's arguments, man. Apples and oranges. That's his thing, man.
No, Yellan can take those arguments.
He can.
I allow it.
All right. Going over the comments, guy. Julian is saying, pretty sure third place will get the Europa League spot from the KNVB Cup if the winner of the cup already has earned qualification for the Champions League. Yes.
That could be true because PSV would probably, in that position, if we become third, PSV would be second, and they will win the cup. So Ajax will get. That could be true.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we didn't really touch upon that. So thank you, Julian, for that addition. Let's see. We have Keith. I think we have to give some respect to Frank de Boer. To date, he's the only manager who gave Ajax 4 in a row title. Yeah, we should stop complaining, guys. We're complaining too much. And Luca is saying,
but Ajax has never been only about winning, right? So it's a winning mentality, but we also have to display a certain football on the pitch.
All right, let's touch upon that quickly before. Let me reverse. Let me go with the 2 last comments, and then you can touch upon that. Ten Hag had Van de Beek, Ziyech, Onana, Frenkie. That's true. That is true. Keith from de Boer Ajax win 2-1 against Neymar Xavi Barcelona team. And 1-2.
I believe you skipped a few, Juan, but I forgive you. You're so nice for Papi tonight.
I skipped. Oh, you mean this one?
The other one.
Oh, the other one. Papi stop speaking facts. EyeJax is the GOAT. Tadic is the GOAT with Heitinga. Okay, so basically Rita does not agree with you, EyeJax, but it's all good. Everybody has their own opinion.
With me, she doesn't agree, but she does agree with EyeJax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look,
just jokes, man, just jokes.
Yeah, look, this is my last question that I have. Really, my last question. That will be it. Talking about the football, I mean, look, we said Heitinga came in the middle of the season. He had to take over from Schreuder and help to stable the ship, basically, this season. His performances, I just touched upon that as well, was pretty good. Talking about taking away the results and looking only at his football so far, you know. And of course, we also have to take into consideration the handicap of the team because the team is not balanced. We know all this, but looking at what you're seeing right now, the type of football changes, etc. What's your opinion then? You touched upon it first, PapiMento, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ajax and fans have always wanted Ajax to play a certain way as well, right? It's not only about winning; it's winning in a certain way and playing attacking football and showing the Johan Cruyff philosophy on the pitch, right? So we always set Ajax to a higher standard. It's not only about winning games because I've been hearing that so much, but it's also about showing our DNA and what we stand for.
Okay, and
So,
what is Heitinga showing? That's my question.
yeah, and what Heitinga is showing is bringing Taylor to the number 6 is he wants more football on that 6, and that's the most evident thing he wants. I mean, of course, he's lacking quality to really play the way he wants because I don't think Taylor is the 6 he wants. But for now, he's doing it like this, and I think if Heitinga stays, we will get a really like a Busquets type kind of CDM, more of a passer kind of. Good defensively, but also can pass very well and can shift the game.
Okay, all right. EyeJax, what about you? What about what you have been seeing from Heitinga?
I've been positive about Heitinga, and I will remain positive until proven wrong. I think he deserves a full season. Standing by my opinion, I think he showed, especially those first games, we still had counterattacks, it still wasn't good, but we showed that he is actually able to change it around at halftime. He proved that a few times. We saw that he puts players in their natural position, except for Kudus, maybe a bit on that right wing, but it's like you guys are always saying, like a new type of 10, coming from the right side. So not only as a striker anymore. Those are great things. And also the way he handles himself in the media, compare it to how Schroeder did that. I like what I'm seeing. It's a child of the club, and I'm not willing to let him go yet. That's also a big argument because what he showed up until now is already very good because she cannot win everything, On one side, people are saying, yeah, he's inexperienced, but at the same time, they expect him to win with this material every match because he didn't lose that much. So pick a side, you can have it both. For me, I'm not willing to say goodbye to him yet. So that means you have to give him another season.
Okay, and then we're going to close off with Yellan, man. What's your opinion on the football that you've been seeing recently since Heitinga took over?
It's been a little bit better than with Schreuder at the helm, but it wasn't hard to surpass that kind of football. Still, there's a lot. We're a long way off from what we're wanting to see, and I don't think we have the luxury to afford ourselves to play the Ajax style of football. So I disagree with Papi. I think that we should really focus on the result now, and then the style of Ajax play will come later. And Heitinga has Ajax DNA.
Yellan.
Sorry?
I was talking about next season. I mean, he doesn't have the material for this season.
So. Yeah, and he has the Ajax DNA in his blood, so I believe that he is able to do that. And I think that he is also a no-nonsense type of coach. There is no fooling and goofing around. He is very firm but fair with his players, from what I gathered. So there is no trickery, no foolery. You just do your utmost best, and there is no nonsense. Like he was playing his football himself, no nonsense, and put your best foot forward. I think that's what we need.
But also what you're saying showed with that rule he implemented, with no phones, also for the staff, no phones at certain stages towards the game, certain areas. Those things I like, so I'm really backing you up with that argument because that's not only on the pitch, he wants to do it off the pitch also, and he's not excluding himself or his staff.
I heard they have to give their phones or show that it's turned off when they leave the bus. Or when they enter the stadium, they go into the back door area, and that's where they have to shut off their phone. So when they're on the premises, leaving their own vehicle or the bus, that's when all communication with the outside world is off.
I like it.
So no more selfies during the warm-up.
Yeah, all right.
I agree, yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tonight's live stream session. Papi, you good?
Yeah, man, all good.
All right. Yeah, there was 2 against 1 on the Heitinga Bosz discussion, so just want to check if you're okay.
Yeah, but
They
what did
forgot
you
how good Bosz was, man.
what do you
That's
expect? Yellan and I always back each other up, so yeah. No, but
The
hey, in
kid
all
is brilliant,
seriousness,
bro.
one, if we just I have a solution for our problem. If we just accept that we are not going to finish in 1 hour, we don't have a problem anymore. You just do it and see how long it takes, because if we're implementing it, we have to be in an hour and we're just passing it each time, we're like disappointing ourselves. Just accept that sometimes it takes longer.
All right.
Yeah, but you
guys,
get mad about Heitinga not staying, so we have to discuss longer.
Yeah, it's all my fault again. Sorry, guys.
No. It's the host, man. It's always the host. Guys, thank you again. Thank you, Yellan, for joining the live stream. We'll see you again soon. All the ones that joined, thank you. Thank you for the comments. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe and also give us a like. And we'll be back next week with another live stream session. Have a nice evening, guys.
See you guys.
Night.
See you guys.